What's going on, guys? This is your boy DJ Fat Snacks here with another Snacks Bites and Reviews. This week we're going to talk about the DC TV shows that came out, the animated DC TV shows that came out this week. We have Harley Quinn, episode 7, and we have My Adventures with Superman, episode 9. Alright, so let's start with Harley Quinn. Okay, so I love this episode. Pretty dope episode. It's out there. Don't get me wrong. It's an out there episode because they did what a lot of shows try to do. They give a few shows this opportunity to be like, okay, let's see what the future would look like if something bad goes wrong. And so in this case, you start off with Harley is now realizing that she may be going crazy. Like in the episode before, she saw herself at that party. She saw a version or somebody dressed as her. Now, if this wasn't her hallucinating, I may think that might be Clayface. And now that we see what happens in this episode, some other, revelations come up too as well. So she's like trying to find Ivy, trying to tell Ivy, something's wrong. She needs to get some help, blah, 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 blah. Can't find Ivy. Just doing a whole bunch of stuff. Frieza's wife is trying to, I forget her name, but she's trying to stop her from seeing him because basically, Poison Ivy is on a freaking trip or whatever. Well, not a trip. She's doing a mission basically, and so Harley gets there and dead smack of Ivy and them trying to take over this this transportation of a time machine, which is weird. And the fact that she didn't want to use the time machine was even weirder. But she's like, she just want to get it because she wants to have something on herself. And so it's crazy how the the natural disasters were like, they just went with it. And it was like, okay, cool, we good. So they go and they take over this transport, and then like all the little other heroes show up. You got like Superman and all of them trying to get through and stop Poison Ivy from doing stuff. Then Harley shows up and they have like an argument while the stuff is going on. Wonder Woman is trying to get in their way and tell Wonder Woman is telling Harley get out the way, let the real heroes do stuff. It was pretty cool little action scene, which is kind of one of the things this season is kind of, well, not really missing. It's just, I don't know, I like this action scene pretty good. So yeah, she gets to, they get to the point to where they see the thing, and she finds out that Harley wants to use it too because they want to see what the hell happens in the future, if some crazy shit happened, and blah, 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 blah. So both of them go in, and they go into the future. Future is messed up. They wonder, like, what the hell happened? Why is it so crazy? They're attacked by these robots, and they have to, like, get away from the robots, and then come to find out the resistance comes and try to help them, but they thinking they're getting taken by like the villains, and they kill this one guy, and that was a running joke for a good little minute about him being one of two only guys left in the city, and he was the hot one. That was funny. And then come to find out that the leader, or not the leader, more of a person of the resistance was Harley and Ivy's daughter. Now, she looks like both of them mixed together. I want to know how they did that. And I like how they just conveniently left that whole aspect out. Let alone the fact that that one chick, if I'm not mistaken, she was from a prior season. And she worked with the GPC, with the Gotham Police Department. And so, they had a joke with her earlier too, if I'm not mistaken. But that was cool that she was raised by this chick, and then I didn't think that. So basically, what happened was they were trying to stop somebody from taking over the city. And you come to find out that it's Robin that's taking over the city because Robin, and he's now not only older but fatter, and he's doing everything from the Batcave or Wayne Tech, basically, the Wayne building, and so. The whole time they thinking they working with their daughter, they all excited. They do this whole little big thing about how we are we are so proud of our daughter who's like running everything and blah 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 blah. Come to find out that daughter was just setting them up to bring them to Robin, and so Robin is like this big man baby, like he was basically as a child. He's the same, nothing changed. Now they did let him curse a little bit in this, which is kind of weird, but it's Harley Quinn. What do you expect? So, so yeah, they go through that whole thing, and so they end up having to fight their daughter. They beat her up and say she's a bad girl, blah blah blah. You get some scenes back in the present time with uh them with Barbara trying to piece together and see if Joker really killed Nightwing, and come to find out he was what did they say? He was doing a sleep apnea test or whatever. So he clearly couldn't have killed uh, Nightwing. So there's a mystery there, and then she calls him out on it, and everybody's like, "Oh, he lied," and they couldn't believe that he lied about it or whatnot. And so now that leads me to where I said my theory of, like, I think they're setting it up to be Harley or whatnot, but I don't think it's Harley. I think it might be the second version of herself that she saw, that's making her think she's going crazy. And you want to hear what's funny about that? I think that's Clayface. I might be completely wrong on this, but I think that's Clayface trying to get his revenge on them for being mean to him. And I think even messing up. Then they mess up his little award winner, his show or whatever. So yeah, I think that's Clayface trying to get revenge. But then they are doing this whole plot about her sleepwalking, so maybe she could have killed Nightwing too. There's no telling. There's no telling. But yeah, so then we get back into the future, and like I said, they take down her daughter, and things just go awry. And it's funny how they added King Shark's one of King Shark's son in there, and he was the one who helped them get away because he wanted the world to be different than what it is now, and that was pretty cool, pretty reminiscent of a movie that just came out. But yeah, like I forget how this episode finished off. They get back and find out that then the world is still, the world has, I guess the events that happened that's supposedly through the world in the disarray in the future, they get back and it's like black and white, and it's like 6 or 5 days later since they left, and so now it's a whole bunch of things going on, and now they got to find out what was the what changed everything or whatever. This show is just getting better and better with each episode, and I'm really enjoying it. Like, I'm not gonna lie, not very many. It's not many episodes of this show at all out of all 4 seasons that I just don't like. So yeah, make sure you guys check it out. I think we got a few more episodes of this show, but when we go down to our next show, which is My Adventures with Superman, this is episode 9, and this is the episode before the season finale of the show, which we get next week. So to continue off of last week's show, basically the all the villains came together working with Task Force X, Suicide Squad, Amanda Waller, and the General, all that stuff. They all came together to take down Superman because they tricked him and made him think that he was helping one of the guys, and it just didn't pan out right, and they caught him. So we start off with Superman being caught, and Lois and Jimmy are looking for him all through the city. I get why they're trying to add some certain things to this, like the concept of these kids, these little kids, being able to help them look for Superman in the city is smart and stupid at the same time. Exactly why I think even Lois thought about that in the beginning too, when the little kids was like, "Let us help you," and Lois was like, "Yo, it's too dangerous. Get out of here." But then the fact that she went against it and let them go anyway, and I was like, "Oh my god, this sounds so stupid." But then they had to make it to where the little girl finds Superman. But yeah, so before we let's not get it, let's jumping too far ahead. But basically, yeah, they are looking for Superman. And then we meet Superman in a red kind of irradiated room, which they have not like they have not really said how they know. Well, not how they know, but basically knowing that this is a weakness to him. The only time you even seen anything where they showed that could have been a weakness is when they met up with the brain and the gorilla. So that's the only thing, and even then they barely talked about it. So it's funny how the General and Task Force X and all them has this ready for Superman, even with what he said, because like they never had any of the invaders left the test on them. So how would he know that was what was stopping them from becoming whatever? So yeah, he goes into this whole thing interrogating Superman. Superman's like, look, I don't know what you talk about. I'm not this person you're thinking of. I was raised here on Earth my whole life. And so the general didn't believe him, so he shows him what happened years ago with him and Amanda Waller while they was on the mission, and apparently one of their ships, one of the Kryptonian ships, shows up. Now, theory. There's two theories. Either that was a Superman from another dimension, that's why they had the orb to tell us Superman going evil at one point in time. So I'm thinking that's the thing they're setting up, or that was the beginning of Zod trying to come and take over Earth. The only reason why I don't think it's the Zod one is because why? Why would Zod come take over the Earth now? At that moment of time, before Clark was even, Clark, basically. Well, Superman, I would say, not Clark. So that was weird, and so they battled them, but then something happened, and then they end up getting the invasion stopped. And so I think that's what makes me think it was Zod, because I think when they did that, when they were invading, right before they started invading, Krypton blew up, and I think that's what stopped the connection. So that's my theory on the if it is Zod. Now, the future one is like, only reason why I'm saying, where I'm thinking it might be another world Superman is, like I said, the fact that they introduced that orb to talk about evil versions of Superman, and it's still in play even in this episode, and the fact that it was one guy flying. And it was weird to me how the general just assumed that this was Superman, and he came back. And I'm like, how do you figure this is the same person? But whatever. So he goes through this whole thing. In the background, you hear Ivo screaming and hollering and saying how Superman is his, blah, 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 blah. And then you kind of see like Livewire, she has a little spark, and she's like, what? And clearly she tells that that somebody is watching, which is Amanda Waller. She's watching, what's going on. And so she knows she's eventually going to be able to escape, because she saw the thing, because she didn't say anything. And so this is when the general comes in and says, like, she questioned the fact that he hasn't tortured Superman to find out what the hell is going on, and she feels like he's getting soft and whatnot. So that's when she decides to do her thing and let Livewire do her thing and get everybody loose. So while this stuff is happening, you see the general just kind of, she calls him by a name, and this goes to my theory where I said earlier about it being Lois's dad. His name is Sam. That's Lois's dad, Sam. Lois's dad is General normally. So let's see how they play this out. And I think they even hinted at it in this episode when they were doing the flashback, when he was on the phone with his wife, and I guess she was getting ready to give birth, or he just found out she was pregnant. Whatever the situation was. And I think they're going to, I'm telling you, that's what's going to happen. And so we go back, and Livewire frees everybody and says, "Let's go ahead and get our revenge of Superman." So, Parasite, straightforward, straight to Superman. Let's go. Let's get it done and start messing him up or whatever. And so they fighting. He's getting all his powers. The general comes out, is like, "Yo, dude, what are you doing? Stop!" So they all fighting. Slade comes in to try to stop everybody. Livewire shanks him in the eye, so that's how he gets his missing eye to be Deathstroke, which is weird, but okay. I knew it was coming because he was unscratched from anything, and we always known that Slade was always missing an eye or something was wrong with one eye or whatever. So there we go. That's how we get our traditional Slade Wilson, aka Deathstroke. And they do this whole big fight. Superman hears Lois and he flies out. And once he goes out, and he flies out of this hole, but then when you look up, he climbs out of a sewer hole, and that's just when the girl sees him. And what's funny is the girl said, "Meet her at her secret lair or whatever." How did this little girl get this big grown Superman man in on her bike to without anybody seeing her to her little secret base? That was funny, and the fact that nobody cares about Clark's secret identity. So when Jimmy and Lois shows up, "Clark, are you okay? Clark, are you okay?" They're in this little girl's secret hideout. I'm pretty sure the little girl is still around. They didn't just throw him in the hideout and leave him there. So now they know that it's Clark. Supposedly, well, I guess because they show him, so we're gonna assume that they wasn't there to hear that. They've been letting his name fly throughout this series so far for a good little minute, and the love connection between Lois and Clark is so deep, and it's something as fans of Superman would understand. But when it comes down to context of this show, I'm sorry, they're too far along in their relationship to be talking about how in love they are. Like it ain't been that long. It ain't been that long. That's what I mean. It ain't been that long. They shouldn't have gotten that deep so fast. So now I'm tripping about that. And so he goes back and he sees that this whole time when he left, Parasite was basically getting power and digging out of was it Cadmus or a version of Cadmus. And that was kind of messed up how Livewire gave him some power to get stronger or whatnot. So you know what? In this episode, I wonder if they caught the rest of the villains. They might have got away, because when he comes up, Parasite comes up and he starts draining the city of energy so he can get bigger and stronger and fight Superman. Talking about how he gonna take him out and blah blah blah. And he was taking Superman power. I'm really, really, really mad about the fact that they have not given Parasite the power that normally makes him unique when it comes down to fighting Superman, where he takes Superman powers and he basically, when he drains Superman of his powers, he becomes a version of a Superman. So he has all his strengths and weaknesses. So I'm mad that they never it's always about, oh, just stop him from collecting energy, and then he'll eventually go get weaker. And I'm like, that is the stupidest concept. And then the fact that everybody was watching the battle go down, but they turn off all the power. So you telling me he didn't think to go get the power from the TVs that was being played or the cell phones? He didn't think of none of that stuff. Everybody just turned off all the power on the power grid. Yeah, that was how Superman defeated him. They basically was fighting, and Lois and Jimmy used all his followers to tell everybody to turn off your power, and that will help Superman win. So Superman gets his X-ray vision, which was so short. They gave more time for him, his hearing, than his X-ray vision. I think he should have got that soon as he got out, with Avo, so he could see where he needed to go. I think that's when they should have gave it to him. But to give him in that split second to see where Avo is in the robot and be able to dive through the mech and get Ivo out of it to stop the mech from moving was it was a good concept. I just wish they would have gave him, you know, more time to you know, utilize the vision or whatever. So yeah, he knocks him out. Basically, he wins. Blah 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 blah. He goes and Jimmy and Lois is like, "Oh, you're still alive." Blah blah blah, and they give him like this big hug. Well, Jimmy gives him a big hug, and then he gets up, and then they do this whole thing with Lois and Clark. Like I said, their love story is a little bit too strong for me at this moment for for the time that they've spent together. You know, they both say, I love you," and it's just so I don't know, something is. It's not that I don't like the fact that they are in love with her or saying they love. It's something else. It's weird about how it was cultivated and how it grew so fast. That's what I think I'm really at. And so they hug each other, talking about how they love each other, blah blah blah. And then you go to this whole thing where the general comes in and he's talking to Waller, and now Waller is now the official lead of the Task Force X Suicide Squad. So that's how she gets her position, and she basically demotes the general and tells him, "Well, we got this gun for you, it's the cannon, and this is what we want you to use to go ahead and kill Superman." And so now I'm like, why are they so gun ho with trying to kill Superman? Clearly, he just showed them that he wants to be a hero, and this whole thing just kills me how they trying to do this. But you know what? This is what makes the story go around and get better and better and better. Now we only have one more episode of Superman and My Adventures of Superman. So let's see how it goes, and I hope it goes well. Like I said, Harley Quinn. I'm pretty sure he has a few more episodes of Harley Quinn. Oh, a couple of things to talk about. So, guys, did you know that The Flash, the movie, is already on HBO? Well, I'm sorry, on Max. That's crazy. It's only been 2 months at most, and it's already on Max. That's wild. I can't believe that that's already there. It can't believe it. Can't believe it. Like, how y'all feel about that? Comments and go ahead and put some comments down below. Let me know if you're gonna watch it. Let me know, have you watched it? Let me know, are you going to see it? Let me know if you're up on these shows and you're willing to see what's going on, and tell me your thoughts on said episodes that we talked about today. My name is DJ Fat Snacks. You can find me on all social media platforms with that name, DJ Fat Snacks. And I will see you guys later. Until next time, peace.